sell to clients as part of our process.
Okay.
So there are other sort of challenges that we have that we might get onto, but we thought that this was quite a good one to sort of start with. We want to try and find something or create something that helps us, take, let's say, again, a brand like Duolingo, look at all of their followers, their like public followers on Instagram or something, and then be able to look at the followers of those followers and then almost create, like I said, a fandom map, an understanding of the interest groups that those particular people have that are beyond, them following Duolingo. What are the interests on Instagram that they over-index on versus the average follower, for instance? What are the passion points they have? Is it like Formula One? Is it anime? Is it, whatever it might be, but like what are the interest groups that they have? Where like Reddit might be easier to scrape than like something like an Instagram, for instance, but I think Instagram's still hopefully like most people
I
on
think
there.
TikTok is a little challenging too to scrape. I think they actively block scrapping. Yeah.
But I think the way I've seen this is kind of Dan's kind of baby, where he's got this idea about how you can pull this fandom stuff, and I think it's super clever, because if you think of how most platforms do it, they're like top down, right? So it's like top down. You've got creator or brand, you look down at what that audience is. We're kind of slightly doing it not bottom up, but kind of middle up, if you know what I mean. So it's like, right, we know we're looking for people who like X, a certain brand, but it's like them going underneath it and going, right, 50% of that audience love this celebrity as well, or they like this person and they like this, or their comments, they're all talking about this, or this is a big conversation when it's happening within that community. And I think that's the stuff that most of the platforms can't do, or they don't do. And I think it's a really interesting way for us to kind of deliver a slightly new insight to when we're going back to clients and say, well, actually, the reason we picked, like Dan said,
actually, you are interested in extracting insights from the data, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
extracting insights, and mostly like basically like unearthing and understanding what are the other interests these people have that we can build campaigns around, basically. Like that's the number one thing we want to get to the bottom of, because that's the starting point for us for all creative ideas. If we can say, we know people who follow your account or who use the Duolingo app, or who, and by use, I just mean they're a follower of Duolingo, for instance, are interested in these things more than anyone else on the internet, that gives us a really good starting point for like building our ideas from. And that's like if we were building an MVP, that's like, I guess, the one thing that we'd want to be able to surface at the beginning. And then I'm sure there's loads of other things that we could do with a tool like this beyond that. I think that's the one thing we want to try and understand, one, if it's possible, but then two, like, your point of view on that. And
yeah, two parts to this, right? There's the part one, which is like, what information can we scrape and how can we get it? And it's two, is how do we take that information and then put it in a digestible form for us? So we kind of we want to know X, Y, and Z. It can take the data and put it and make it into what it is. And I think, like, we don't need to do it all at once. Like you said, we can just look at one part of like what that MVP is, and we can do one thing and start adding on top of it. But that's kind of where our head's at.
So I understand your problem, and I understand that what you need to what are you aiming for. So you want an MVP which scans the data from these platforms, and based on particular, for example, like if somebody is interested in Duolingo, what are the other interests they have? Like, you want to extract these insights from the data.
Yeah. So you could be like, what other interests they have, who are they following? Like, what's their top 5 followers, for example, the top 5 people they're following. Mm-hmm. And then it kind of gives us that thing where we go out to a client and go, well, actually, you're going to say you're going to go work with this celebrity, for example. But we can go, well, actually, most of your audience follow these 3 people. So actually, we should go after those 3 people because they're following them and they can have influence on them, kind of thing. You know what I mean? They're interesting insights to give to clients stuff they wouldn't normally get.
Yeah. Are you guys familiar with Notebook LLM?
Yes, it's the one where you can like make a podcast, right?
The podcast one. So the interesting thing is like you can give Notebook LLM a large amount of data, and it will summarize it into a small podcast. And sometimes that podcast gives you very interesting insights. Like I have tried it, and like It's amazing. Like you can give it like gigabytes of data and it summarizes that in like 12 minutes podcast. So
Yeah.
that, for example, in our case, if we parse a lot of data and then feed that data into Notebook LLM through an API and then ask it like maybe generate a prompt it like what other interests do these users have besides Duolingo. So it will give us very good insights.
Cool.
Yeah. So one thing is
That's interesting. What would we need to get? What kind of input would we need to give it? Just like we'd need to scrape basically every follower of Duolingo, for instance, and like who they follow, and then just give that, just literally give like a large data, just the data of like followership basically across a certain brand.
so do you have an existing data set that we can work off, or we have to scrap it? Like
We would have to scrape it ourselves as well. We'd be happy to pay for, you know, I know like so there's like things like Phantom Buster and other things like that. Like we'd be happy to scrape it. But yeah.
Because I think, yeah, well, I think one of the first ones we're kind of looking for is like, yeah, a bit of a, I mean, from my point of view, it's like, well, how long do we, if we're going to take it apart and go, right, what's the one core thing we want to look at, which is maybe the first thing, and say, actually, we'd love to be able to just have it so we can type in, you know, who are the main people following this brand? What other people for Duolingo are they following? What do they over index in? And who are the kind of, what topics are they talking about, or who are they following? So that's like the key one part of what we're doing. What would you need to do that? What would the cost be? Like how much time you think it would be? And is there any other platforms we would use to do it?
Yeah.
I think, and then what interface be? I think that's kind of where we want to start, isn't it, Dan? And then we can kind of scale.
Yeah.
I think that would help us the most, just to get an idea from you. It's like how much time you feel like you need. And
Okay.
I'm not going to put you on the spot now to tell me now, because there's quite a bit of, there's a little bit of thought that goes into it, but that's kind of the brief.
Yeah, you're right. The project description that you mentioned was very concise, so I understand the project scope. I think you're aiming for like 4 weeks MVP, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, again, we don't know as much as we would from this, so you tell us basically what you think would make sense.
Okay.
And we really do want it to be MVP at this point in time. Like, it doesn't need to be.
Okay, let me do some research, like give me a couple of days and I'll get back to you on that, the timeline and how I'll approach this problem, because I need to do some research at my end. But the interesting thing is, like, I talked about the Notebook LLM, and I gave it, like, I created a petition for myself, like it was like 50 or 60 pages long for EB2 NIW US visa application, and I gave that petition to Notebook LLM and asked it to create podcast. So it was very, like, it gave me insights that I didn't even knew about myself. Like, it's like really amazing. It works like magic. So I think it can be a lot of potential.
For clarity, like, we don't have to build something. Like, if your recommendation, and we're happy to pay for that recommendation, is we can do this using a few off-the-shelf tools that exist, and we can just piece together a few things that already exist.
I think,
of course,
I think we
the
have
easiest
to,
solution.
Yeah, I think we have to use the existing solutions, like, to make it quick and work, because we don't have to reinvent the wheel, build something from scratch. Like, if existing solution work, then obviously we have to do some parsing, feed that data into whatever, like Notebook LLM, whatever other solutions are available. Maybe like advanced version of GPT 4.0, we can use that as well. So whatever works for us, we'll use. I have worked with other clients who wants to develop a solution from scratch, but in this case, I think we'll have to work with off-the-shelf solution and get the best results. So that's my recommendation. Yeah.
I think so as well. And it might be the case, like, we get to a point where down the line, like, actually this is really great, but it's not quite giving us, if we go and make our own one, it's going to give us more information, or we can be more bespoke with the questions or the response that we're asking for. But at the moment, we're quite, especially with this first initial phase, like a proof of concept, right? It's like, right, can we get it? Is it going to work? Is it going to be viable for us? And is it going to help us? Then we start seeing a lot of benefits in it, and we start thinking of more ways it can help, then maybe that's a thing down the line. But I totally agree. There's enough good stuff out there at the moment that's going to do it. It's just kind of utilizing it in the right way and that's, working,
Yeah.
giving it what we need and getting the most out of each of the schools.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I have to figure out some things related to the parsing, like what do we exactly want to parse? Do we go to their profiles and parse their data? Do we go over their tweets? Whatever, like we have to I have to figure out the structure of how the data needs to be parsed and then store it locally, then feed it to whatever tools we are using, maybe LLM, notebook LLM, whatever. So yeah, that's my approach to tackle this problem.
Okay.
No, it sounds interesting. Yeah, I look forward to hearing more.
Yeah, are you guys familiar with Fortnite Studios?
Fortnite Studios.
Fortnite Studios, no. I know the game. I'm sure it's never been the game, right?
Yeah.
It's basically a London-based agency. I work with them also, so I just thought like they are
Okay.
also a branding company.
Oh yeah, Fortnite Studio. Yeah, I have. Weirdly, I have actually heard about it ages ago. Actually. Yes. Yeah. Unmind. Yeah, I think that's where I heard about them from.
Mm.
They did quite the other one.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, no, I hadn't. What's the context? What, just
No,
because
I
you
just
worked with
said
them
like I
before?
have worked with them like as a developer before. So you are also
Okay,
based out
cool.
of London, so I just wanted to.
Yeah. No, I know a few of they've worked on Thursday, Bumble, Unmind. I know quite a few of the apps they worked on. So
Oh, great.
yeah, cool.
Yeah. So like, how do we proceed from here? Like, do I do research and get back to you, and then we start the project on TopTel, or how do we want to proceed from
Yeah,
here?
that would be helpful. I think.
Yeah. So I think for me, as I said, we've been chatting to basically like just 3 people, and we just kind of want to understand one. I don't want people to do much work. I just want to basically go, right, how much time do you think it's going to do?
Okay.
Do you think it's possible? Yeah. So as top line as that is like, this is probably what I can do within this time frame. That's as much as we need at the moment, and then we'll kind of want to make a decision this week to kind of get it moving.
Okay.
So like really by the latest at the end of this week, we want to kind of go, right, totally agree with your setup. How are you going to do it?
Okay.
But let's move forward. That's kind of where we're at. So I chatted to one person on Friday. They're going to come back to me this week as well. We're chatting to another person this afternoon, and
Okay.
also yourself.
Okay.
I just wanted to get a few different options of how people are going to approach it.
Okay. Sure. I'll share my strategy with you. I'll do some research, and in the meanwhile, you can make a decision.
Cool.
Amazing. Great to speak to you.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.
Right. Definitely.
Thanks. Bye.